Mark Dawson reporting. I'm traveling to a secret location to interview a top Wall Street and Washington insider who has fled the country in fear of his life. Fearful because of the shocking information that he has that he's going to reveal for the very first time on this special televised interview. The Falcon has access to the halls of power and is about to blow the lid off the greatest government corruption and scandal in our country's history.
Okay.
You fled the country and gone into hiding after exposing what you call the total collapse of the United States.
Is that on?
Yes, we're rolling. The camera is on. Okay, but again, your identity is completely concealed.
Okay.
You ready to begin? Okay, so you fled the country, concerned for your safety, and now you want to expose what you've seen from inside the halls of power. What is it? Tell us. What is it that you want people to know?
There's a perfect storm of financial devastation coming. Think of like a tsunami. It's coming, it's about to hit, and it's about to hit hard. I'm talking about total collapse. I'm talking about the currency collapsing, public services no longer operating, people not getting paid, no gas at the station, no groceries at the store. I'm talking civil unrest where the military is called in. Banks are closed.
But countries on the verge of bankruptcy? I mean, the United States on the verge of bankruptcy? How could that be?
The U.S. is the #1 empire of debt on the planet. The #1 reason behind the coming collapse is because all of these countries, including the U.S., they are drowning in debt. And those that control the debt, they're about to pull the plug. You know, it's only a matter of weeks or a few months at the outside. It totally hits the fan.
But are you prepared to expose those responsible?
It's the people behind the Federal Reserve, the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations. They're all involved. But at the top is the elite world bankers. They run and control the world. They control governments through debt. And the owners of the Federal Reserve, they have ties to many countries, and it all dates back for many generations.
Okay, now when you say Fed, I'm assuming you mean the Federal Reserve, correct?
The Federal Reserve, it's not part of the federal government.
Really?
People don't realize it. It's a privately owned central bank. It's owned by wealthy American and international bankers, and they make their profit by lending money to the U.S. government. In fact, they gain control over governments, not just the U.S., by supplying them with money when they need it. And then they use this as a tool, as a lever to squeeze out of them what they want. Henry Kissinger said it best. He said, control the oil and you control the governments of the world. Control the food and you control the people of the world. But if you control the money, you control the entire world.
All right, are you saying that the elite bankers and the Federal Reserve are attempting to control and enslave the world through debt?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And here's how they do it, let me tell you. They allow bubbles to be created by providing loose credit. They get everybody from individuals, businesses and governments addicted to credit. It can go on for decades, but when they're ready, they pull the plug knowing there's going to be disastrous consequences.
All right, when you say once we're addicted to credit, they're going to pull the plug, what exactly do you mean?
Thousands of banks will fail. Many millions more are going to lose their jobs and everything comes to a grinding halt. The truth is the government has lied and you should be mad as hell about it.
A question, Jack. Can the U.S. and world markets truly be hurtling towards a financial collapse?
Well, this is the first time I've heard from a Washington Wall Street insider that the mounting financial pressure is about to burst the economies of the world. You call the U.S. the empire of debt. What about Social Security and Medicare?
Don't get me started. I mean, you are forced to contribute to a system where they supposedly invest your money and it will be there for you when you retire.
Right.
It's a joke. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's like a Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme. The government can't collect enough tax money without bankrupting the taxpayers it's going to try to collect from. It can't borrow money without driving interest rates to the point where borrowing is impossible. And it can't print money fast enough to replace the money foreign lenders are quickly taking back from the U.S. Let's face it, the U.S. is screwed, pure and simple.
From your vantage point, from what you've seen, what do you predict that Washington will do?
You can expect strict banking controls where you can't withdraw your money maybe for days or weeks. If you protest about it, you'll probably be thrown in jail. I mean, everyone's going to be taxed to death. Did you know that the health care bill allowed the government to hire another 17,000 IRS thugs. They're going to be banging down your door to get your money. The government, if they raise taxes to seize 100% of everything everybody earned, the profits of businesses, they'd still be bankrupt for years to come. There's no way out of this hole. It's simply a scheme. It's hidden stealing of wealth from citizens. And it's exactly what the Fed is doing. They're doing it now, and they're doing it in desperation because the United States of America is bankrupt. It's a dead man walking.
You paint some dire pictures, some dire scenarios of financial devastation, from crippling national debt to foreign nations withdrawing financial support, and of course this corruption behind the entire debacle. I want to hear more about how the Federal Reserve is devaluing the dollar. Tell me more about that.
You know, there is no federal in Federal Reserve. It's got nothing to do with the government. It's a private company. But they have complete power over the United States, complete power of the printing of our money. The Fed and the elites behind it who control it, and those in Washington, they're going to destroy the value of the US dollar. Every paper currency eventually collapses and its value goes to zero. The final nail in the coffin, it's going to be hyperinflation. That's where prices rise so fast, any cash you have becomes worthless.
All right. What kind of timeline are you speaking of? I mean, how soon could something like this affect the United States?
The next 8 to 12 months.
8 to 12 months. I mean, do you really think that's possible?
Actually, I think that could be optimistic. Many more people than have already will lose their jobs. Money will become worthless overnight. And just imagine having no running water, no power, a complete breakdown in public services, being locked out of your own bank account. Did you know that there's 80,000 military troops in secret training in locations in the United States, and they're there ready to deal with emergencies and civil unrest in the U.S. on U.S. soil? The government knows you're going to be mad as hell, so they've got 80,000 troops ready to put you in your place.
You really are predicting collapse and chaos for Americans in our future.
These things have happened over and over again when economies collapse. People do not study history. Nobody gets paid when an economy collapses. Nothing works like it's supposed to. There's constant power outages, supply lines, deliveries, they all stop. Public services cease. And then hyperinflation, the precursor, the early stages, they're already happening right now. Americans, they're the least prepared of anybody in the history of the planet.